So I wanted to talk about stock dilution because I feel like most people don't fully understand it, and I'm going to be doing this in Paint, so my drawings might not be the best because I'm drawing with a mouse, but they should be good enough to get the point across. But in my example, we're going to be having a company, and this company is going to be having 5 million authorized shares. So what this means is that the company can issue up to 5 million shares of this company. They can't go beyond that. And a lot of the time, companies will have less than this number. They will have less than the maximum that they're allowed. And in our case, the company is going to be having 2 million. Now, 2 million shares, each of them is worth $10. That's a $20 million company. The outstanding shares, they represent the full value of the company. So if you own 1 million shares, let's say you own 1 million shares, well, 1 million, then you own one half of the company. You own 50% of this company. Very bad writing. But yeah, that's how it works. Now, if a company decides to dilute its stock, what it means is that it's going to be issuing more shares. So let's say that our company goes from 2 million shares and they issue another 2 million in a public stock offering. So it goes from 2 million shares to 4 million shares. So if they do that, then the original million that you own right here is now only worth 1/4 of the company. So I got a visual kind of to explain it. So let's say that the blue box represents all the shares that we had before. Now we're going to be having twice as many shares. Now, in return, what the company gets for the shares is money. So let's split this in the middle. So this box right here is going to be representing the original company and everything that they have. And this other piece, which is represented by the shares, twice as many shares, but we're going to have 2 million shares that are going to be cash. So the company is going to be having everything that it had before, plus they're going to be having 20 million in cash because 2 million shares at $10 a piece, $20 million. So generally, dilution doesn't really mean anything because a company is still worth the same of what it was worth. But what it really depends on is how that company is going to use the money. So if your company is really efficient, like let's say that our company right here had some sort of a new product. Let's say they had some sort of, I don't know, a soccer ball or something like that. And let's say that they couldn't make enough of them to satisfy market demand. So they got $20 million. They're going to use that $20 million to build a factory of some sorts. And that factory is going to boost production. And it's going to take that $20 million and it's going to create value out of it. So in that case, the dilution is fine because your company used the money wisely, it did everything well, and even though you own only 1/4 of the company right now, that 1/4 of the company is going to be worth more than this 1/2 of the company was maybe in a year. So in the long term, this will be good. In the short term, the stock price might drop because people don't like dilution. However, if you have a company that doesn't use the money very effectively, let's say that our company wanted to get money to fund a new product that it wanted to make, and it gets the money, it creates the product, but then the product is not commercially successful, then what essentially happens is you have 2 million shares go on to 4 million shares, but the $20 million that the company had, it blew through all the money and didn't really generate any new value. So now you lost a lot of value because you only own 1/4 of the company, but the company itself is no longer worth as much as it did when you owned 1/2 of the company, when the stock dilution happened. So basically, if the company blows through the money somehow, if the company has bad management and the management uses the money to get themselves bonuses or something like that, and they don't use it to generate value, then a stock dilution is bad. But a lot of the time you invest into companies that, you like their products. So if they release a stock dilution, basically it gives them funding to do whatever they want, and assuming that the management usually doesn't like stock dilutions either because they are heavily invested into the companies that they manage. And if you have like a CEO, for example, let's say the CEO of this company controls 25% of the shares, so 500,000 shares, then the CEO is not going to want to dilute the stock and then waste the money. That's not going to be in the interest of the CEO because then he's going to lose the money. But there have been cases where a company has been managed by people who aren't heavily invested into the company, and what has happened is that the people who were managing the company, well, they did some bad stuff. They burned through the money, they wasted the money, they got themselves the bonuses, and the investors lost value in the company. So that happened during the housing crisis of 2008. You had a lot of people who were giving out loans just to everybody because they didn't care about the banks and all of that stuff. All that they really cared was about their own bonuses. And in that case, of course, it was bad. But most of the time, dilution is fine as long as the company uses the money wisely. And yeah, so not too complicated. Hopefully it makes sense for those of you who didn't understand it before. If it didn't, ask in the comments and I'll clarify it.